The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the public plaza, washing the buildings and people in warm light. Families strolled lazily, lovers walked hand in hand, and children giggled as they chased pigeons around the fountain. In the middle of this everyday beauty, Ethan Carter pushed a custom-designed wheelchair slowly along the brick path. In that chair sat his daughter, Lily. She was 14 now. Or rather, she had turned 14 last week, but there was no celebration. No cake, no friends, no laughter. Her limbs, once so full of life and energy, lay limp in her lap. Her eyes, once curious and sparkling, were dull and distant. Her voice had gone quiet long ago. Ethan adjusted the blanket around her knees even though the weather was warm. He did it more out of habit than need. His eyes flicked to her face. Still no expression. Just the same quiet stillness that had haunted him for years. "I thought maybe the fresh air would do you some good," he murmured, even though she rarely responded anymore. Lily didn't answer. She stared ahead, unmoving. Ethan's heart clenched. It hadn't always been like this. She used to dance. She used to run. There was music in her laughter. But then came the illness, mysterious, rare, and cruel. Took her ability to walk, then slowly, silently, it took her joy. Specialist after specialist had failed them. He had spent all his savings and then some. Now there was nothing left but hope. And even that was fading. They stopped near the fountain. Ethan parked the wheelchair beside a bench and sat down. He glanced at his watch, pretending to check the time, but in truth he just didn't know what else to do. He felt helpless, like a man drowning in shallow water. Then he heard it, a strange, sorrowful sound cutting through the laughter and chatter of the crowd. It was a harmonica. A haunting, slow melody played from across the plaza. Didn't belong here. Sounded like something out of a dream. Broken. Honest. Raw. Ethan turned his head. There, sitting cross-legged on the pavement near the edge of the plaza, was a teenage boy. His clothes were worn and faded. His shoes had holes, and his harmonica looked like it had seen better days. But his face was calm. He played without looking up, fingers moving with practiced ease. Tune continued. Soft. Soulful. And then something happened. Lily moved. Ethan's heart skipped. She turned her head slowly toward the sound. Her lips parted slightly. Her eyes, those dull, empty eyes, began to shimmer with something he hadn't seen in a long, long time. Emotion. She wasn't smiling, not yet. But she wasn't a statue either. Her fingers twitched slightly on her lap, and her gaze was fixed on the boy with the harmonica. Ethan leaned forward. "Lily," he said softly. "Sweetheart." She didn't look at him. She just kept watching the boy, the music weaving its way into her silent world. Ethan stood up, stunned, and walked over to the boy. People passed by without noticing him. Just another street kid trying to earn a few coins. But Ethan saw him now. Really saw him. He dropped some change into the small cup in front of the boy. The harmonica stopped. The boy looked up, meeting Ethan's eyes. He was maybe 15 or 16. Thin, sun-kissed skin, deep brown eyes, and something unshakably steady in his face. Not fear. Not arrogance. Just peace. "Sir," the boy said, his voice barely above a whisper, "I can make your daughter walk again." Ethan froze. Plaza continued around them, laughter, footsteps, music from a nearby cafe, but for Ethan, everything else fell away. Only the boy's words remained, echoing. He blinked, then let out a bitter, disbelieving laugh. "What did you say?" "I can help her walk again." Ethan looked him over. "Are you some kind of con artist? A faith healer? A magician?" The boy said nothing. He simply looked at Ethan like he was waiting for something to make sense. Ethan shook his head and turned to walk away. "You've got the wrong man, kid. And the wrong girl." But as he walked back to Lily, his legs suddenly felt heavy. He sat beside her again and looked at her face. She was still watching the boy. Still listening, even though the music had stopped. That night, back home, the silence returned. Ethan tried to work on his laptop after dinner, but he couldn't focus. He kept hearing that strange tune in his head. Kept seeing Lily's eyes come alive. Kept hearing the boy's voice. "I can make your daughter walk again." He went to check on her. Her room was dim, a soft lamp casting shadows on the wall. She was sleeping, curled slightly to one side. He sat on the edge of her bed and brushed her hair gently from her forehead. Her cheeks looked fuller tonight. Her lips almost curved. Then she stirred. Her hands twitched. Her lips moved slightly. "Noah," she whispered, eyes closed. "The boy." Finn's breath caught in his throat. It was the first time she had spoken in almost a year. He stayed there beside her, watching as she began to dream. Her feet moved slightly beneath the blanket, as if walking through fields only she could see. And in that dream, she wasn't alone. The boy with the harmonica was there. Morning came slowly, gray and quiet. The house was still, except for the soft clinking of plates in the kitchen. Ethan poured a bowl of cereal, adding slices of banana the way Lily used to like. He carried it carefully to her room, trying not to spill. Lily sat in her wheelchair near the window, where sunlight pushed through the glass like a shy visitor. She stared outside, motionless. "Morning, sweetheart," Ethan said gently. "You should eat something. Your favorite." He held the spoon near her lips, but she didn't open her mouth. "Lily," his voice trembled. She didn't even blink. He tried again. "You remember what the doctor said? You need your strength." Still nothing. Then she whispered, so soft he nearly missed it, "The boy." Finn leaned closer. "What did you say?" Her lips moved again. "The boy with the music." Finn felt a strange chill move through him. He didn't know whether to be terrified or hopeful. "The boy from the plaza?" She blinked once. A slow, small nod. She wouldn't eat. She wouldn't drink. She wouldn't speak again. Just that one clear request, to see the boy with the music. By late afternoon, Ethan gave in. Back at the plaza, the world spun as it always had, busy and beautiful, blind to private grief. Ethan pushed Lily slowly through the familiar walkways. Her head moved slightly, scanning. Searching. Then she saw him. Noah. Same old jeans. Same faded hoodie. Same quiet presence. He sat cross-legged under a tree, harmonica in his lap, fingers idly tracing the worn surface. When he saw them, he stood up, not surprised, not eager. Just calm. As if he'd been waiting. Finn hesitated. "She asked to see you." Noah nodded once. Lily's eyes were locked on him. There was something there, recognition, maybe even longing. Noah didn't approach. He knelt on the ground a few feet away from her, not too close, not too far. "Hi, Lily," he said gently. She blinked, a slow response. Her eyes stayed on his. "You don't have to say anything," Noah continued softly. "Just listen, okay? I want you to imagine something for me." Finn stood nearby, arms crossed, suspicious. Noah looked at Lily. "Close your eyes. Picture a field. It's soft. The grass is warm beneath your feet. Not your wheels, your feet." She slowly closed her eyes. "Can you feel it?" he asked, his voice almost like a whisper on the wind. "The ground. The way the wind brushes your arms. You're not afraid. You're free." Finn scoffed under his breath. He didn't believe in imagination healing the body. This was absurd. But then Lily's foot twitched. Not a spasm. Not a random muscle jerk. Her toes moved. Tiny. But real. Finn leaned forward, stunned. Noah didn't react. He just smiled softly, as if he already knew. "Tomorrow," he said to her, "we'll go a little further. We'll take one step. Lily opened her eyes. She looked peaceful. For the first time in years, she didn't look like she was carrying a world of sadness. Noah stood, bowed his head slightly to Ethan, and walked away. Ethan was left shaken. That movement, was it coincidence? Reflex? Hopeful delusion? He wasn't sure. But when they got home, Lily ate. Not much. Just a few spoonfuls. But it was more than she had in days. The next day, she asked again. No words. Just the same glance out the window, the same silence, the same unspoken request. So Ethan returned to the plaza. And again, Noah was there. He didn't bring gadgets. No crystals or chants. No claims of power. He just talked. Sometimes told stories. Sometimes guided Lily through quiet visualizations, her toes in sand, her fingers brushing leaves, her legs running across a field. Every time, Lily responded. First her toes again. Then her ankle twitched. Then her fingers moved slightly when Noah asked her to imagine catching falling leaves. Ethan kept telling himself it was a coincidence. Muscle memory. Some mental trick. But the fear inside him was slowly giving way to something even scarier. Hope. 3 days in, Dr. Emily Brooks visited for a routine check. She'd been Lily's physician for over a year. A brilliant neurologist. A skeptic by nature. Ethan sat across from her in the living room, watching her face as she reviewed her notes. She's responding to external stimuli now, Emily said, sounding puzzled. You say it started this week? Yes. After she saw someone, Ethan admitted carefully. Emily glanced up. Another doctor? No. Just a boy. A street musician. Emily raised a brow. A musician? He doesn't touch her. He just speaks to her. Gets her to imagine things. Emily was quiet for a moment. Ethan, are you saying this boy is helping her recover? I'm not saying anything, Ethan said, rubbing his temples. All I know is, for the first time in years, she's showing signs of progress. Emily nodded slowly. Whatever it is, I can't explain it medically. But I'll run new tests. Maybe there's a change we missed. That night, Ethan sat beside Lily as she slept. He brushed a strand of hair from her forehead, watching her chest rise and fall with soft breaths. He remembered how she used to fall asleep in his lap when she was little. How she used to chase butterflies. How she once dreamed of being a dancer. He whispered into the stillness, "Who are you, Noah?" Over the following days, Noah continued to meet them in the plaza. Every afternoon, same time. Rain or sun. He never asked for money. Never asked for food. Ethan offered once, an envelope with cash. Noah smiled kindly. I don't need that. Ethan brought sandwiches another day. You must be hungry. I'm fine, Noah replied gently, brushing it aside. She needs more than food. Ethan didn't understand him. But he stopped asking. Lily began speaking in fragments. Small words. Soft whispers. Sometimes during the sessions. Sometimes at night in her dreams. Sky blue. Feet wind. Noah. And every time she said his name, there was a warmth in her tone. Not romantic. Not childish. Just connection. A deep, mysterious understanding between two souls who barely knew each other but didn't need to. Ethan couldn't explain it. But he saw it. Noah brought nothing with him except presence. And Lily responded more to that than she ever had to surgeries or machines. One afternoon, a week after it all began, Noah arrived with something new, a small paper crane. He handed it to Lily gently. I want you to imagine this flying, he said. Your legs are the wings. They want to move. Lily held the crane in trembling fingers. Noah smiled. Close your eyes. She obeyed. Noah began to hum, a soft, melodic tune not from the harmonica but from his throat. A lullaby-like rhythm that wrapped around them like sunlight through leaves. Then Lily's leg moved. Not just a twitch. A real, visible shift. Her calf tensed. Her knee bent slightly. Ethan dropped his coffee. His eyes filled with tears. He wasn't imagining it. He wasn't crazy. His daughter had just moved her leg. Noah stood quietly. "We'll keep going," he said. "But slowly. She's almost ready." Then he left, vanishing into the streets as quietly as he had come. That evening, Ethan didn't speak much. He just sat on the porch, staring into the fading sky, hands trembling. He was terrified to hope. But he was more terrified not to. Emily called with test results. "There's neural activity where there wasn't before," she said. "Ethan, this isn't just emotional. Something's changing in her brain." Ethan hung up in stunned silence. For the first time in years, he prayed. Not to any god he remembered, but to something. Anything. Whoever was listening. Noah kept coming. And Lily kept healing. Bit by bit, day by day. A silent kind of hope had entered their home. One they didn't dare name. One that walked in with music and left without asking for a thing. The weather had changed. Autumn was folding into the edges of the city, soft winds, falling leaves, and golden light slipping through the trees. Ethan Carter watched Lily sleep, her face calm, her breathing slow and even. Peaceful. As if her nightmares had taken a break, finally giving her space to rest. It had been 2 weeks since Noah entered their lives. 2 weeks since Lily's toes twitched. Since her legs moved. Since she spoke his name with something almost like wonder. She was laughing again. Not every day. Not for long. But when she did, it cracked open something in Ethan he had buried for years. Till part of him couldn't rest. Who was this boy? He made no demands. No promises. No threats. But he had become the most important person in Lily's world, and that made Ethan uneasy. So, one afternoon, while Lily napped and Noah was gone, Ethan started looking. First, he asked around the plaza. Most people barely noticed Noah, despite his daily presence. The street vendors shrugged. "That boy," said the hot dog vendor near the fountain. "Plays music, never begs. Polite. Keeps to himself." Ethan asked if anyone knew where he stayed. No one did. There were no records. No school enrollment. No family name. Ethan searched online databases, public registries, anything. Nothing under Noah that fit his age, his description, or even his face. No birth certificate. No address. No legal footprint. It was as if he had stepped into the world from nowhere. Through 3 days of searching, Ethan found a clue. An old case file from a social worker's blog buried deep in the archives. A boy found wandering near a church 10 years ago. No family. No ID. Raised briefly by a blind woman named Miss Eloise, rumored to be a healer or maybe just a kind soul with an unusual gift for calming troubled children. Miss Eloise had disappeared years ago without a trace. No funeral. No body. Only stories. Ethan stared at the faded picture in the article, a woman with long gray hair, her hand resting on a young boy's shoulder. The boy's face was turned away, but something about the shape, the calm posture, it looked like Noah. His stomach turned. Back home, things were changing faster than he could understand. Lily was blooming. That was the only word for it. She talked more now. Not full sentences, but enough. She laughed at silly things, a dog slipping on a leaf, a story Noah told about a crow that stole his harmonica. She even asked Ethan to help her braid her hair again. She hadn't cared about her appearance in years. The house no longer felt like a hospital. Felt like a home again. Emily noticed it too. She came more often, At first to monitor Lily's progress, then to talk, then to stay for dinner. Sometimes, Ethan caught himself watching her smile while she helped Lily with watercolor painting or reading aloud from one of Lily's old storybooks. One evening, after Lily had gone to bed, Ethan and Emily sat on the porch. "I've never seen a turnaround like this," she said, pulling her sweater tighter around her. "It defies everything I was taught in med school." "You think it's real?" Ethan asked. "Not just some fluke?" Emily looked at him gently. "I think healing isn't always about science. Sometimes it's about presence, safety, connection." He turned to her. "You believe in Noah?" "I believe in what I see," she said. Then, after a pause, "and I believe in people. Not in miracles, but people who show up when it matters." There was a silence between them. Soft, comfortable. Ethan felt something stir in him he hadn't felt in years. Not since before Lily got sick. Something warm, human. Later that night, Ethan passed Lily's room on his way to the kitchen. Her door was open just a crack. He heard Noah's voice. It was soft, like it always was. Steady. Grounded. "And the stars are above you, Lily. So many stars. Can you feel them watching over you?" Lily didn't answer, but something moved. Ethan's breath caught. Her legs. They moved. Both of them. Not a twitch. A shift. As if her muscles remembered being used. Ethan's heart thundered. He pushed the door open wider. "What are you doing?" Noah didn't flinch. He stood slowly and turned. His face was calm. "She moved," Ethan said, staring at his daughter. "You were whispering to her and she moved." "Yes," Noah said softly. Ethan stepped forward, voice rising. "Tell me what this is. What are you doing to her?" Noah shook his head gently. "It's not me. You said you can make her walk again. What does that mean? Who are you? What are you?" Noah's eyes were steady. "This isn't healing, Mr. Carter." Ethan frowned. "Then what is it?" Noah stepped closer, his voice quiet. "It's remembering. Her body forgot how to hope. I'm just helping her remember." Ethan didn't understand. Hope doesn't make muscles work. Hope doesn't fix the nervous system. "No," Noah said. "But forgetting hope can make the body stop trying. You know that. You stopped hoping too." Ethan felt as if the ground shifted beneath him. Noah continued. "She needed someone to believe in something simple. To believe she could still feel the wind on her legs. To believe the story wasn't over." Ethan stared at him. "And you? You just show up and do that? Why her?" Noah's expression softened. "Because she listened." "To what?" "To the music," Noah said. "To the spaces between it. That's where healing begins." Ethan sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. He looked at Lily. Her hands were curled against her stomach. Her lips were parted slightly in sleep. She looked peaceful. And something else, stronger. He looked back at Noah. "You're not just some street kid, are you?" Noah smiled faintly. "Does it matter? I want to understand." "You will," Noah said, stepping back into the shadows of the hallway. "When she's ready, I'll leave." "You'll leave?" Ethan repeated, startled. "That's the way it works." And then he was gone. The next morning, Lily asked for music. Not just Noah's harmonica. She wanted to hear the old songs she used to dance to. The ones that had been locked away in dust-covered playlists and painful memories. Ethan played them. She hummed along. Then, one moment, she lifted her hand and placed it gently on his. "Dad," she said. Ethan nearly broke. Her voice. Her word. That look in her eyes. She was coming back. Not just physically, but all of her. The girl he knew. The soul that had gone silent. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "I've missed you so much." She smiled. "Noah said I never left. I just forgot where I was." Ethan couldn't hold back the tears. Neither could Emily when she came that evening and saw Lily sitting up straighter in her chair, hands steady, cheeks pink with new life. "She looks," Emily whispered, then stopped. "She feels like herself again." Ethan nodded. "She's remembering." Emily looked at him. And in that moment, he wasn't just a father to a girl who was healing. He was a man waking up. To his daughter. To a woman who stood beside him through quiet battles. To a boy with no name, no past, and more wisdom than anyone his age should carry. The layers beneath were unraveling, and something beautiful was rising in their place. Plaza didn't feel the same anymore. Where there had once been quiet music and the soft buzz of passing footsteps, there were now cameras. Journalists. Shouting. 100 curious strangers with phones in their hands and hope in their eyes. Started with a social media post. A blurry video of Lily in her wheelchair smiling. Of her toes moving. Of Noah playing the harmonica beside her. Someone captioned it, "Beggar boy heals paralyzed girl." Within 2 days it had gone viral. Noah, the quiet boy with the broken harmonica, became a mystery the world wanted to solve. Or exploit. Porters showed up near the plaza. Strangers gathered where he played. People offered him money. Some cried and tried to touch him. One woman clutched her sick baby and begged Noah to speak to her child. Noah stopped smiling. He stopped playing. He started to hide. Ethan watched it all unfold with growing dread. Lily sensed the change too. She asked why Noah wasn't coming anymore. She waited by the door every morning, clutching a little music note she had drawn for him. Days passed. And then Noah vanished. Lily stopped speaking again. First, Ethan thought maybe Noah had just gone deeper underground to escape the chaos. But something felt off. Then Lily's legs stopped moving. One morning, she woke up crying. Shaking. Her lips trembled as she said, "I can't feel the stars anymore." Ethan called every hospital, every shelter, every police station. No one had seen a boy matching Noah's description. Emily tried to calm Lily, but she was slipping back. Her silence returned. Her laughter disappeared. Ethan's panic deepened. Something terrible had happened. That evening, in desperation, he followed the only thread he had left, the name he had read in the old blog post, Miss Eloise. He tracked her down through layers of old addresses and forgotten church records. She wasn't dead. She lived beneath a quiet stone church on the edge of the city. Place few people visited. Ethan found her in the basement, sitting in a wooden chair near the stained glass window, her sightless eyes staring straight ahead, as if she'd been waiting for him. "I need to find him," Ethan said, kneeling before her. "Noah. He's missing. He's in danger." She turned her head toward the sound of his voice. "He's always been in danger. From the moment he started giving more than he took." "Do you know where he is?" Ethan asked. "No," she said calmly. "But I know why you must find him. Because my daughter needs him." She was healing. She was remembering. And now she's gone again. Miss Eloise reached out her hand and gently touched Ethan's chest. "It's not only your daughter who needs healing." He lowered his head, ashamed. She added, "You don't save children with money. You save them with belief." "I do believe," Ethan said, his voice cracking. "I believe in him. I believe in what he did for Lily. I believe." Her voice cut gently through his grief. "Then go." She handed him something, a crumpled old receipt with a phone number scribbled in pencil. He trusted someone he shouldn't have. The boy with the camera. He promised to help. Ethan took the slip of paper and left without another word. Took hours and then a bribe, but the number led him to a crumbling apartment above a liquor store. The boy who answered the door was barely 19, greasy hair and twitchy hands. "Yeah, I saw him," the boy muttered, cornered by Ethan's towering presence. "Told him I could help him make money. Sell his story." "Where is he?" Ethan barked. "I don't know. I just passed him along. These guys, they wanted to see if the miracle boy was real. They paid big." Ethan slammed the boy against the doorframe. "Where?" A name slipped from the boy's lips, a warehouse near the docks. Abandoned. Quiet. No police nearby. Ethan didn't wait. By the time he reached the building, night had fallen. The air was thick with salt and smoke. The warehouse creaked with wind and age. He moved carefully, heart pounding in his chest like thunder. He found Noah in a corner room. Hands tied. Blood on his face. Bruises on his arms. Two men were arguing in the next room, unaware Ethan had entered. Noah looked up. He smiled weakly through the pain. "I knew you'd come," he whispered. Ethan rushed forward, untying him, cradling him like a father would a broken child. "What did they do to you?" he whispered, voice thick. "They wanted to sell me," Noah murmured. "Thought if they kept me long enough, I'd heal one of them." Ethan's jaw tightened. Rage surged in his chest. Noah touched his arm. "Don't be angry. I'm still here." Footsteps echoed from the hallway. The men were coming back. Ethan hid Noah behind some crates, then waited in the shadows. When the door opened, he moved fast, slamming one man against the wall, knocking the other out with a metal pipe. Years of buried grief and strength exploded in one breathless burst of fury. When it was over, he carried Noah out. Not just because the boy couldn't walk from the beatings, but because he deserved to be carried. Like something precious. Like family. Back at Ethan's house, Emily cried when she saw Noah's condition. She cleaned his wounds. Gave him water. Let him sleep. Lily sat beside him, silently holding his hand. He opened his eyes once in the night, saw her there, and whispered, "I missed the stars." She smiled, just barely. "I'll find them again for you." By morning, Noah was sitting upright, drinking tea, pale but steady. Ethan sat across from him. "You saved her," he said. "And I didn't protect you." Noah shook his head. "She saved herself. I just reminded her it was possible. But you were willing to suffer for her." "That's what belief is," Noah said softly. "It hurts. But it's worth it." Ethan nodded. "You can stay here. For as long as you want. You have a home now." Noah looked out the window at the rising sun. "I won't be here forever," he said. "But I'll stay until she remembers completely." Lily, who had been standing quietly in the doorway, walked slowly into the room, her legs trembling. No help. No wheelchair. Just two small, determined feet touching the ground. Ethan rose in disbelief. "Lily," he whispered. She walked 3 steps. 4. Then she wrapped her arms around Noah and said the words no one expected. "You brought me back." Noah smiled, eyes shining. "You never left." Outside, the media still waited. But inside the house, something bigger had happened. Faith had been tested. But it hadn't broken. It had burned hotter, deeper. And in its fire, something pure had survived. The morning light spilled softly through the curtains of the small living room, stretched across the worn wooden floor, touching the corners where dust motes floated like tiny dancers. The house was quiet, too quiet, save for the soft, even breathing of Lily as she sat in her wheelchair near the window. Noah sat silently across from her. His face was still marked with bruises and scratches from the beating he'd suffered days ago, but his eyes held a calm strength, a quiet fire that had not been extinguished. He didn't say a word. He simply watched Lily, his gaze steady, unwavering. Then slowly, carefully, he rose from his chair and moved closer. Ethan stood in the kitchen, preparing tea for them all, but his heart was pounding in his chest. He kept stealing glances toward the living room, trying to steel himself for what might come next. Noah knelt down in front of Lily. She looked at him, uncertain, her eyes wide and searching. Noah reached out a hand. Gently, he took her fingers, their skin cool against his palm. Lily's breath hitched. He didn't rush. No sudden movements. Just a slow, steady pull, a quiet invitation. "Let's try," Noah said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily nodded, her lips trembling. She placed her hands on Noah's shoulders for balance. With care, Noah helped lift her from the wheelchair. First, her legs wobbled beneath her, weak and uncertain, as if they were still learning the language of movement. Ethan heard the faintest crack of a dry twig in the forest, delicate and fragile, but he held his breath. Lily swayed like a young tree caught in a gentle breeze. She gripped Noah's hands tightly. One step. Her foot lifted off the ground. Then it fell again. Trembling, shaking, but still moving. 2 steps. Her eyes filled with tears. Not of pain, but of hope. Noah's calm hands held her steady. 3 steps. Her legs quivered, her body shaking with the effort, but she did not fall. 4. 5. The living room seemed to disappear. Time slowed, the air thickened with something electric and new. Ethan dropped the teapot. Shattered on the floor. He fell to his knees. His mouth opened, but no words came. "How?" he whispered, voice cracking. Noah looked at him, steady and serene. "She walked toward love," he said simply. Ethan's hands trembled as he reached out, touching Lily's arm gently. She turned toward him, still shaking but smiling. "I walked," she said, her voice soft but sure. Noah helped her sit down, easing her carefully onto the couch. Lily's legs were still weak, but they had moved on their own. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. For years he had held on to hope, but this was more than hope. It was a miracle born from something deeper. From love. From faith. From the quiet strength of a boy who believed. For the first time in a long time, Ethan allowed himself to believe. Emily arrived just then, her eyes wide with wonder as she saw Lily standing without help. "You did it," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Lily looked at Noah, gratitude shining in her eyes. Noah smiled faintly, but still did not speak. That night, the house was filled with a new energy, quiet, steady, unshakable. Noah sat by the window, playing the harmonica softly. Lily watched him, her hands folded in her lap. Ethan stood behind her, wrapping his arms around his daughter. For the first time in years, the family felt whole. And the world outside seemed a little brighter.